To see the entire 60-minute video, go to Yahoo Video and search Robert Morey on their homepage. These links will also get you there. www.putfile.com/lieutenantcolumbo/media or saintaugustinian.blogspot.com and look for important Dr. Robert A. Morey links.
Okay, we should now be officially recording, and this is Larry Wessels talking to Hank Kitchen in California, and I'm going to interview him for this tape that will be mailed out to various and sundry places. Hank, first of all, I'd like you to give us a little background in law enforcement. What is your previous background, and don't you have a ministry today that deals with investigative services?
Oh, yes. The ministry is actually Christian Investigative Services. My background in law enforcement was that I came to California back in the late 70s, in fact around 74, and I went to work with the Laguna Beach Police Department as a photographer and an ID tech for Laguna Beach. And then I went to Bonfield School of Scientific Law Enforcement up in Tahoe, paid my way through that on collecting of evidence, fingerprinting and and classification of prints. And I then went to work with the Irvine Police Department. I was a sworn officer as well as working as a position of property officer and a crime scene investigator. So I've worn a lot of different hats in law enforcement.
All right.
So
you've got a lot of experience in this field, especially in investigating and with crime situations.
I had to run background checks. I used to have to, especially for city licenses, where people would be involved in real estate, beautician licenses, taxi, driving cabs, that type of thing.
Right.
I had to do a background check to find out if they were, if they had any felonies or if they had misdemeanors or whatever, and the type of crimes that they may have had in their past.
All right. When the controversy began, basically with the Wessels brothers, what did Morey tell you about the Wessels brothers, and did you believe him?
And I was being told that you and Gary had pretty well absconded with funds, and that you guys had done all kinds of things that were not, that they were very concerned about.
Yeah, and very unethical things like embezzling money and so forth.
And there was a lot of things being said, and of course I had no knowledge of any of this. I mean, I felt like surely that Dr. Morey would not be telling me something that was not true. Been a little uncomfortable about a letter that Dr. Morey was showing to a number of people at the M&R conference, stating that you guys had had a secret bank account that he was not aware of, and that you guys, had been embezzling money.
So at the M&R conference in Atlanta, Georgia, I guess, 1995, this is a year and a half later, he's at this counter-cult conference and actually using that conference to promote this idea that we're crooks and embezzlers and have a secret bank account.
That's right. Now, when I got back to California, I contacted Mike Stevens. And I asked Mike, I said, you were there at the meeting in Austin, Texas. Today that Larry and Gary and everybody was there, and there were certain statements made, and I said, I would like to know what exactly was said to these boys when they asked for some of the money that was owed to them back. What was said? Pardon me. And according to what he told me, he said that Mrs. Morey had looked and stated directly to the Wessels, well, we may owe you morally, but we don't owe you legally. And that really kind of caught in the back of my mind. And I went back into my file, and I pulled the letter that had been written a year and a half before that. And in there, word for word, was the same statement in writing by you that this is exactly what had been said. We may owe you morally, but we don't owe you legally. And as a Christian, I felt very uncomfortable with that statement. And that was what, you know, Morey's always talking about out of the mouth of two witnesses.
Mm-hmm.
That was the two witnesses. That letter, along with what Mike Stevens said, as far as I was concerned, clinched it that I needed to look into it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I decided to contact you and request bank statements, checks, ledgers, bills, testimonies from different people that you had been dealing with in Austin, Texas for the REF.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that I could get my hands on, which, of course, I never had any problem getting this data.
So you were provided with documentation that you needed as you requested.
Everything that I was requesting, I got from you. I mean, there was like, there wasn't anything that I would request that I did not get.
But what about when you asked for stuff from Morey?
Well, see, the thing is, I never got anything from Morey. Morey never gives, all he would say is that just, you know, take my word for it. More or less take his word for it.
So for all that time, you took his word for it for a year and a half, and then this happens at the EM&R conference, and you start checking into this thing. You're still not provided any documentation from Morey.
I mean, the only thing I got from Bob Morey was I got a copy of the letter at the EM&R conference. He gave me the letter from the bank president from Franklin Bank stating that he was under the impression that that bank account had been opened without Morey's knowledge, and therefore Morey was attempting to use this to discredit you and to show that this was a secret account. Now, what I found amazing was this. I found it amazing that a letter that I received from you, which I got a copy of the envelope that was mailed in from Pennsylvania. It was a letter that was submitted to you and Gary pertaining to the so-called secret bank account, because the date of the letter was dated when the only bank account that letter could be referring to was the letter that Morey was running around the EM&R conference saying it was a secret bank account. That letter was signed by Bob Morey, Ann Morey, and all the board members, telling you and Gary that you were to continue doing the same thing you'd been doing regarding monies for the REF. And it was pertaining to this particular bank account.
Morey claims in newsletters that he has mailed out by the thousands nationwide during different years that the Wessel brothers of Texas had embezzled and stolen large sums of money from his ministry, and therefore he needs supporters to send him as much money as they can to make up for this. Morey has consistently made these claims about the Wessels brothers, who he, in more recent years, refers to as the Russell brothers of Texas. These claims have been made by national mailings, word of mouth, facts, in his church, at national conferences, and even on his national radio show over many years. Documentation and witness testimonies indicate Morey has claimed the Wessels have stolen anywhere from $30,000 to as much as $150,000. Instead of turning the Wessels over to law enforcement officials for criminal prosecution, Morey has chosen to seek those who will believe his Wessels-Russell brothers of Texas story in order to secure sympathy and financial support. If Morey's claims about the Wessels and or Russell brothers are untrue, then Morey is telling false stories in order to obtain money from the public. If you or someone you know has heard this story, or more importantly, if you have actually given money to Robert Morey as a result of this story, please contact us right away. Please contact Larry Wessels, Post Office Box 144441, Austin, Texas 78714, or call 512-218-8022 and leave a message. And now for a final word from Truth Seeker Robert Morey.
David, welcome to Truth Seekers.
Hello, Dr. Morey. How are you?
I'm doing fine, having more fun then is legal, then is legal, then is legal, then is legal, then is legal.